So apparently, the GOP are taking jabs at Kamala Harris because she doesn't have biological kids. And they are wondering whether this might be a losing strategy for the GOP. I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's this very bizarre trend right now to sort of attack women who did not reproduce. And it's kind of like weird to me. I mean, I never reproduced myself, and so I always thought I was the lucky one. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Look, I think it's a very complicated world that we live in, and I think for minorities, immigrants, people like that, it's even more complicated than the average person in the population. I think for people who are indigent, who are poor, who, are sort of the outliners or outsiders in the society, you know, having children is cute, it's nice, but on a certain level, it's also very selfish, in my opinion. I mean, I've always felt that it was selfish on my part to bring children into this situation on the earth where automatically they'll be discriminated against because they're my children. They look like me. Automatically they are excluded from so many things and places. I mean, even sometimes just a restaurant, you'd be surprised. Going to a restaurant, whether it's the diners or the patrons of the restaurant or whatever, who just don't want you there because of the color of your skin, frankly. You try to get into certain universities, people think you don't belong there just because of the color of your skin. You try to get certain jobs, or you do get certain jobs, they persecute you for it because of the color of your skin. I mean, I just always felt like, having children was something that for me was very selfish. I mean, the reason to have them was because, you know, I don't want to be alone in the world. I need someone to take care of me when I'm old, or, I don't even know what motivates other people. Or, I'm a woman, I have a womb, I have a vagina, and it's for the purpose of, being pregnant and birthing kids. I mean, all of those reasons to me was never really satisfactory justification to bring life into this experience and to, give my eggs in the form of my children to a world that I really feel is increasingly hostile to people like me. But I'm learning now that in fact, not having children or bringing children into this experience, whatever the experience, is less offensive than choosing not to subject new lives and new generations to frankly this hell that you call life on earth. And I say that with all due respect. I mean, I understand for some people this is heaven, this is wonderful, life is great. And it's not like I'm saying life is not great, but I am saying that for some people, life is an automatic privilege where they don't have certain things to worry about. And for others, your entire life until you die is such a stressful thing, for the simplest of things, the simplest of things. You walk into a supermarket sometimes or a shopping mall or something, and you're automatically put through just the worst experience that you can possibly imagine just because of how you're packaged as a human being. And so I could never really justify bringing biological children into this, honestly. And so, but I thought that was really thoughtful of me, to think of the life I was going to give to this new person who never asked me, never once, to bring them into this, right? I just couldn't justify it, and then you see so many broken homes. I mean, I was lucky that, my parents are married. They were married when I was born. They continue to be married. And so I do come from, people who value sort of the traditional nuclear family setup. But I mean, reproducing that and finding that so that my children would have that was not, a foregone conclusion. And I frankly never found that. I never found someone that I wanted to reproduce children with and bring them into this and take the risk that they're going to be there until my children are grown, right? Now, people like, who is this woman? Governor Sanders. She's a privileged woman. I mean, she has all that's needed, including the father and husband, to bring these biological kids into the world and to know that her children are safe in the world. They can go wherever they want. They can get into whatever school they want. They can have all the resources that they need, the best schools, the best neighborhoods, the best this and the best that. So she can afford to sit on her laurels and have all the biological children she needs because her children will never be subjected to any form of discrimination or anything like that. Now, I don't think Kamala Harris has the same reasons for why she did not choose to bring biological children into this experience. Every woman has her own story. Every woman has her own reasons. Some women they just career wise or whatever. I mean, everybody has their own reasons, but I just really find it offensive on a whole other level. I mean, aside from what I already said were my reasons and justifications, that, because you have a womb and a vagina, you are automatically expected to fill it up with somebody's, body fluids and bring life into the planet no matter what the circumstances are, right? That you are required to do that to prove what? That your vagina works, that your womb works. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it is clear to me that there are circumstances where, some people should just leave that alone. Leave those poor unborn kids alone. Let them stay in wherever they are rather than bring them into this experience. You can't really help them. You can't do anything for them. They become yet another statistic for people like Governor Sanders and her ilk, right? Because they're not necessarily in these neighborhoods, you know, with these mothers helping them through this experience when they force these people to, prove that they're women by having biological kids. I mean, the nerve and audacity of these people, they are the first ones in line, with their DEI and their what is it called? Affirmative action, the anti-affirmative action and this and that, where they don't want certain people in their schools. They don't want you in their neighborhoods. They don't want you in their restaurants. They don't want you even in their churches in some instances, right? But yet they're going to sit there and pretend like they're so pro-life and they're so this and they're so that and condemn people who, for whatever their reason, because again, I'm sure Kamala Harris, she has her own reasons. Maybe she just didn't find the right guy. You can't just go having biological kids. She doesn't want to be a single mother. Not everybody wants to be a single mother. There are women who are single mothers. They do a very good job of it, right? And there are other women who they don't take that on because they know that they can't do this alone. They need a good man, the right father for their children, the right husband to raise their children in a traditional manner. And I think it's their prerogative to hold out for that. Unfortunately, there's something called the biological clock. And by the time you meet your husband, it may be too darn late for you to have these biological children. But the nerve of people like Governor Sanders or anybody else to be judging a woman's decision to not choose to have biological children or even to adopt children. I mean, some people just don't want the responsibility. And I think children are better off with parents who want to be parents, right? And who are equipped to be parents, right? The fact that a donkey can have, other donkeys, or a pig can do it, or a cow can do it, or a giraffe can do it, or even a cat or a dog can do it, or, doesn't mean they should, right? It doesn't mean that they should, or ants, or whatever. I mean, there gets to a point where, enough is enough. I mean, and there are enough people on the planet. You want to talk about global warming? There are enough people on the planet. I mean, how many more do you have to prove? Like every woman has to pop something out to prove what, right? That Governor Sanders is a good mother? I mean, seriously, on this point, I really take umbrage on behalf of Kamala Harris with this woman and what she just said. That's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.